Yo, so I just finished my banana smoothie lunch, and I have a little banana story for you today. We're moving. Our parents, Mads and I were helping our parents move from the house that we grew up in up to this farm. And today they hired a moving company to just move the big stuff, in a big truck. And so I was helping some of the guys carry some of the stuff into this house, and we were taking the washing machine into the bathroom. It was a real crazy ordeal because it was so narrow and it was so heavy, and we were like three people trying to cram it into a small bathroom. It was kind of stressful situation, and especially for the other guys because I just came back from a run, but I was feeling kind of easy. I hadn't lifted much that day, and then these guys had already lifted lots of heavy stuff, so they were sweating, they were tired. This was the last item. And then, as we go into the house, they look around and they note. I can see it in their eyes. They're noticing all the bananas, right? Because we got bananas in one of the colder rooms near the door. We got bananas in our kitchen, here, there, everywhere. It's full of bananas in this house. So I noticed they were looking at the bananas, and then at the end, when they were leaving, this guy, he was sweating and he was taking water in his face and he was taking a sip of water in the bathroom. He was really tired, and I said, "Go ahead and have a few bananas." And he was like, "Oh yeah, man, thanks. I was gonna ask you actually. I wanted a few bananas," and he grabbed a couple of bananas. Perfect fuel for someone who's working a job like that. But here's the funny thing, and this is the point of the story, I guess. He said something interesting. I had two boxes of bananas. One of them had yellow bananas with a little bit of green on them, still unripe, needed a couple more days of ripening. The other box was fully ripe bananas, spotted, looking perfect. And he was grabbing, the unripe ones, and I said, "Go ahead and grab a ripe banana if you want." And he said, No, I prefer the yellow ones, even the green ones actually. And so I didn't want to, get into it there, so I was just like, "Oh, okay, cool, no problem." And then he told me about like how he doesn't like the ripe bananas, and I said, "Well, that's where the starches turn to sugar, so they're more sweet." And he's like, "Nah, that's what I don't like. I don't like. They're just so sweet." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And then, here's the funny thing. After that, he told me, "Oh, hey man, you should try mixing bananas with Vikingmelk," which is Viking milk, you could call it. And it's a product we have here in Norway. It's essentially condensed milk. It's very, very sweet. It's like super duper sweet concentrated milk. And he said, "Go ahead and mix bananas with Viking milk. It's so good." And I didn't want to get into a discussion. There was no point. So I was just like, "Oh, okay. Thanks for the tip, whatever." But here's the funny thing, isn't it? Like, this is something I come across quite a lot. People say they don't like bananas or they don't like fruit because it's too sweet. Or he said, "I don't want the ripe bananas. They're just too sweet." But then he tells me a recipe where he takes the unripe bananas and mixes them with sugar, basically. Viking milk, which is very sweet. What's up with that? I mean, and then I have other people I've seen several times eating unripe fruit, and then in another situation they're adding sugar to their smoothie, they're adding sugar to their meal. I've seen people say they don't like ripe fruit, they prefer the bananas kind of green, but then next minute they're telling me how they prefer putting a little bit of ice cream into their smoothie just to make it a little bit sweeter. So there's this kind of I don't know, it's just kind of funny how people are sometimes. When I make smoothies to people, and I make them with ripe bananas and nothing but ripe bananas, maybe a little bit of water, people often ask me, like, "Did you put sugar in the smoothie? What the hell? This is so sweet." And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's what bananas are like when they're ripe." And people are just like, "Oh, really?" And I think mostly the situation with the bananas particularly is just a simple case of people not having actually tried a fully ripe banana, because what happens is that the bananas get damaged a lot. They get a lot of bruises. So when they're brown, they have a lot of damaged areas, and people don't really like that visually and emotionally they sort of feel like it's disgusting, and maybe the taste is really bad as well sometimes if it's a big bruise, sort of fermented a little bit. But that's not really a ripe banana. That's just a bruised banana. People confuse the idea of ripe fruit with damaged fruit. They're not one and the same. I wrote about this extensively in the Little Banana book if you're interested, where I have some pictures that compare truly ripe bananas to just damaged bananas that look ripe. It's important to tell the difference there, because you can have an almost brown banana, but it's still not ripe. Likewise, you can have a perfectly yellow banana with spots, freckles rather than bruises, and that's a ripe banana. So, but you guys probably know most of this. If not, check out the banana book. But okay, that was a cool little story. Oh, that's all for today. Just a little funny situation that I seem to get into quite a lot. You know, this idea that people say, no, I don't like ripe bananas. They're just too sweet. But I do add sugar to my smoothie. What? Yeah, just people are strange. Hope your day is going awesome. Mine is going very well. I just came back from a run. As I said, I'm feeling good, fit, happy, and now on to the rest of my day. See you around.